Komm her, Dante! Dante? Dante, wo willst du hin?
Was ist hier los?
Du musst bei mir bleiben, kapiert? Wir wissen doch gar nicht, wo wir sind.
Willkommen im Land der Toten.
Nice to meet you.
So, I saw the film on Monday. It's perfect. It was an amazing journey for me. My first question is, why did you make a film about the Mexican culture, especially La Dia de los Muertos?
I had always been interested in Dia de Muertos as long as I can remember. I was first attracted to the celebration through its beautiful folk art and a lot of the artwork kind of surrounding the holiday. There was always something so interesting to me about the juxtaposition of death and skeletons, but with bright colors and festivity and music. It's such a different, it's so different than how I was raised and what I had ever been exposed to growing up. And I wanted to learn more about it. And the more that we dug in and learned about Dia de Muertos and the traditions, we learned how important family is to it. It's all about family. It's all about the importance of remembering our loved ones and passing their stories along to the next generation and ensuring that their memories are never forgotten. And the more I learned, the more I saw the potential to tell a really rich story that could be colorful and a big adventure and full of music, but could also have a lot of emotion.
And also be a Pixar film that's just a little bit different. And that's always very exciting.
We never want to repeat ourselves, and this was an opportunity to do something different than we had ever done.
And how did you prepare for your film? How get you your ideas?
So after I pitched the story to John Lasseter and he agreed to have us start working on the film, we immediately got on a plane and went down to Mexico. And it was the first of many trips that I made. There were other trips where just people working on my crew went down to Mexico, and we just spent a lot of time there embedding ourselves in the culture, trying to see as much of the country as we could and witness firsthand how Dia de Muertos is celebrated. And all of those experiences, all of those details ended up becoming a part of the movie, especially the times that we spent with families. We spent a lot of time living with real families down in Mexico and just observing their day-to-day life and how they interacted with each other and how they celebrated Dia de Muertos. And that was all in an effort to make this film as kind of accurate and respectful as we could.
Was it difficult to bring Coco from your idea to the paper?
Yes. It's always hard. Every movie we've ever made. This is Pixar's 19th movie at this point. They're always very difficult, and they're always difficult for different reasons. The storytelling is always the hardest, figuring out who the characters are and how the story is going to unfold. We spent a long time just working on that. We spent 6 years making Coco. We've been working on it ever since we finished Toy Story 3, and I think hopefully just the fact that we've been working on it 6 years tells you how hard it is and how much work goes into a film like this.
And was it difficult to finance it? Because it's not a typical Pixar film.
Well, we are part of the studio, part of the studio system. So from the very, very beginning, when Lee pitched the film, the studio was behind it. Everybody was very excited about this idea and could see the potential of everything that Lee said. You walk into a room and you see photographs of Mexico and how people celebrate this holiday, and pretty much unanimously, it's a place that people want to explore and be in.
So, yeah, there was never we always had the support of Pixar and Disney from the very beginning. I think they liked that we were doing something different than we had ever done before. And I think everyone agrees that Mexico is a beautiful place, and this is a really beautiful tradition, and people were excited to see a story told against it.
You said there are lots of details. Can you tell me what was the most difficult detail, the most difficult scene to bring in your film?
And one of them was the skeletons, right?
Yeah, the skeleton characters were complicated and different than anything that we'd ever done before.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time early on figuring out exactly what they were going to look like and how we were going to animate them. And the goal was always to create skeleton characters that weren't scary. We wanted them to be appealing and relatable because they're people. Even though they're skeletons, they're still meant to be characters. They were living once, and they're still those same people like they were when they were living. They just happen to be skeletons now. So that was a big challenge, and just creating the whole land of the dead was an enormous challenge because I had imagined a world that was huge in scope and just visually dazzling, and it took us a long time. It took a lot of people a long time to figure out how to get that up on screen.
And what do you think is the reaction of the audience?
It's been good. It's interesting. Every audience is a little different. I could see this movie many, many times with many different audiences, and the reaction is never the same. Sometimes people laugh at a joke in one screening and then they don't in the next, and sometimes people all cry. Everybody cries in one screening, and the next they don't. It's very interesting to see how different audiences are. But so far, so many of the audiences have just loved the movie, and it's been really heartening to us because we worked so long on it, so hard on it. It's great to see people kind of affected by it in the same way that we were while we were making it. That's very rewarding.
So thank you, and have a nice time in Berlin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the movie.
Yeah, thank you
so much.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Haben Sie etwas anzumelden?
Ja, haben wir tatsächlich. Ja.
Du musst vor Sonnenaufgang wieder zu Hause sein, sonst bist du hier gefangen. Für immer.
Ich verwandle mich in ein Skelett.
Was?
Life sounds like
Das ist dein Ticket zurück, Muchacho.
Hey, viel Spaß auf der Party.
Ich bin ein Mega-Fan. Dürfte ich vielleicht...
Das Feuerwerk.
Was treibst du da?
Ich laufe wie ein Skelett.
Nein, so laufen Skelette nicht.
Aber du läufst so.
Nein, gar nicht. Schluss damit.
Coco, lebendiger als das Leben.
Schüsse, ich bin furchtbar allergisch.
Aber Dante hat doch keine Haare.
Und ich habe keine Nase. Und trotzdem ist es so.
Fröhliche Weihnachten euch allen!
Der neue Kurzfilm.
Bist du dabei? Au!
Disneys Die Eiskönigin. Olaf taut auf. Nur im Kino mit Disney Pixars Coco.